The farmer's market this morning. It is Saturday, June 7th. And I'm always excited when I go there because it's so much better quality. So, what did I find? I found escarole, also known as frisee. So, this is featured in a video, a demo, a green salad demo that Bernardo did, which is posted on YouTube. It was his preferred one. It does have a little bit of a bitter taste to it, but it's good. So when I see it, I'll usually get it. I'll usually get like one or two a season, kind of an homage to to Grandpa, to Bernardo. Of course, there's other lettuces which is good as well. What I like about the particular vendor that I go to is that they seem to have so many different kinds of lettuces. They have frisee, they have butter lettuce, they have red leaf lettuce, they've got romaine, for example. They have other varieties as the summer goes on. So there's a great selection. Look at this. Look how big it is. So this is the reason why I love to go to farmers markets because, first of all, everything isn't in plastic. I can actually see the food, I can touch the food, and I can see what kind of health the food is in because that's important as well. I think I did a previous video just talking about, plants also have nutritional needs and the soil is very important. So, I shop at a place that's kind of low spray, right? So there you go. So that's one of the things I found today. I got all excited and I thought of you guys. The other thing that I found, which was a favorite of Fernando's, was spinach. So this is fresh spinach. This is the beginning of the season. So they're not, huge, big leaves, but they're very tender, green. Pro tip, if you're going to use spinach that you get from a farmer's market, in other words, it's not been pre-washed and pre-packaged, then the tip is to get all the soil off of it because there's nothing worse than eating gritty greens, is that put it in a bowl of water and put salt in the water, right? And what that will do is that will pull all the dirt off. Will pull all the dirt off. And if you do that a few times and it rinses clean, then you won't be finding yourself with some unpleasant silt in your mouth. So if you look in the book Beyond 100, one of the foods that Bernardo talks about is, he talks about, well, it's in the same quote chapter, sweet potatoes and spinach. So he talks about his fondness for that. Let's see, what does he have to say here? I've got the ebook version of it. He says that I have found that B vitamins in sweet potatoes or in spinach salad can help you beat the blues. Both are rich in folate and vitamin B6. They work by keeping your brain's neurotransmitters in balance. These chemicals control whether you feel depressed and anxious or have a clear and healthy mind. You would be happy to include them in your diet. So that's what he's got to say about spinach and sweet potatoes. Hey, Alexandre. Hey, Elsie. Thanks for being here in this spontaneous live that I've done. But it's Saturday, and Saturday is Farmer's Market Day, and my favorite farmer comes to the farmer's market because I always know I'm going to get some good stuff. Now, the other thing that Bernardo talks about in his book Beyond 100, How to Live Well into Your Second Century, is carrots. So it's the beginning of the season. So you see these carrots are very tender and very delicate. If we have good rainfall and the season goes on, they'll get bigger and bigger and bigger. And again, what I like about my particular farmer is that they have not only classic orange carrots, They also have white carrots. They have purple carrots. They even have what they call heirloom carrots, right? Carrots that come kind of come in a round ball. So carrots come in many varieties. The other thing is that I kept the tops on because what I love to do is clean the tops, cut them off, and make a pesto out of them using olive oil and using garlic. So it's well known that you can make a pesto out of basil, but you can also make a pesto out of garlic tops, right? So Bernardo used to say, don't waste anything, right? One of the most important things in a kitchen is economy. So unfortunately, we've been trained, to throw away bonus greens like this, but you don't have to. You can actually make a pesto out of this, like I said, and you can, put it in the freezer and take it out and use it for later, for whatever you like to use it for. You could use it for a dip, for example. Okay, so let's see what Bernardo has to say about carrots here. All right, he says, carrots are at the forefront of the fight against cancer, even though they are not fully appreciated in this task. Many claim they help prevent breast cancer and heart disease. They are very important in maintaining good health in general, more as a prophylactic than a cure. So a prophylactic would mean something like preventative, correct? They also help prevent constipation. They are instrumental in maintaining good health for your heart. They are also great for your eyes. Keep your bowels open and are great for weight control. And help keep your colon clean. Growing kids need lots of vitamin A to have healthy eyes, so should eat lots of raw carrots. So this is a great snack food. If you've got kids or you've got grandkids, instead of giving them candy, give them carrots. Also, yeah, one note about carrots that I discovered when you go to the supermarket is that what they call those, and they call them baby carrots, but those are actually bigger carrots that have just been chopped up in little pieces, and I think that they may have some kind of gnarly chemicals on them. So again, when you go to the farmer's market, talk to your farmer and find out how they grow their food and how they grow their crops. Now, to answer Sue's question, yes, food is expensive everywhere. That's why it's important to buy quality. You'll find that if you buy quality food, you won't be throwing it out. So I used to, like everyone else, try and go, oh, Trader Joe's or whatever, let me get the stuff in there. But I found after a while that their greens were not of very good quality and I was throwing stuff away. Okay, to move on. Also, you're going to find that food from your farmer's market is more nutritionally dense and you're not going to eat as much of it because of it. Cheap food is grown cheaply and it doesn't satisfy you the way, food that has been grown with care does. Okay, moving on. Asparagus. Asparagus was definitely a favorite of Grandpa's. So he used to cook this often, and he would cook this with some sautéed onions and some garlic very lightly in olive oil. So this is the beginning of the season, right? So you see how they're tender and new. So the trick for cooking cooking asparagus, is that you just go like this, and where it snaps off naturally, this is the part that you want to eat, and this is the part that you can keep for making like a sort of like a vegetable broth. This fan is blowing on my hair. Let me turn this fan off. Okay, so for anyone who watched the last live, you don't have to worry about me losing my hair. That one was made during the pandemic when I couldn't get to a hair salon. You see, I've got a lot of hair, and we're good in the hair department. Where I live is my business. I do not tell people where I live because my privacy is important. Okay, moving on. All right, so this part right here, you can actually use it for making like a vegetable broth. So what I do is I will take things that people normally throw away and save them. So when I'm cooking something, like if I'm going to make a soup, I'll just take the frozen bits that people normally throw away, like these asparagus parts, or it could be, you know, kale leaves, or, you know, sometimes even beet stems, and I'll throw that into what I'm boiling for a soup, right? And that way you get more nutrients out of it. The other thing Grandpa or Bernardo would do with you know, broccoli stems or asparagus stems, again, things that people would throw away, you know, even cores of apples, is that he would juice them and he would make a juice out of that and he would consume that. So again, economy is very important. Now, the other thing I found in the farmer's market today, I mean, just look at the vitality of these vegetables. Look at them. Look how beautiful they are. Is that I found, quote, green onions or spring onions, right? So this part, the green part, this can be used to chop up, and you can actually put this in your salads, right? And these are, you know, purple, quote, green onions. Beautiful color. Beautiful, beautiful color. So Grandpa used to say that onions and garlic were really like cousins, and he used them all the time when he was sauteing his green vegetables, whether that was broccoli or whether that was asparagus or whether that was spinach, right? You may have some other green vegetable that you like, maybe mustard greens or kale or collard greens or Swiss chard or, you know, some of the Japanese greens, whatever it is. But I just thought these were gorgeous. And to me, they smell wonderful. The other thing that I found in the farmer's market today was that I found these French radishes. They had different kinds of radishes. They had purple radishes. They also had kind of the rounder red radishes. But I like to get radishes because they're very good for your liver. You know, anything that's a little bitter is actually good for your liver. And so aside from keeping your colon clean, right, you also want to keep your liver clean as well. There you go. All right, so I'm not going to stay here on here too long. I just wanted to encourage you to go out in your hometown, wherever that is, and explore your farmers market, get to know your local growers and support them, because what you're going to get from them is going to be of much better quality than what you get in the supermarket. You're going to be able to examine it. You're going to be able to smell it. You're going to be able to which also kind of gives us a certain kind of a connection and a pleasure, you know, to the earth. It's going to sharpen your senses, and you're going to find, in general, you know, depending on the grower, which you can tell when you walk around the farmer's market, right? There's some, you know, farm stands that I frequent habitually because just the vibrancy of the vegetables, you know, I can tell they're doing the right thing. And then there's some other farm stands which I'm not even sure sometimes if they're really growing their own stuff or they're just putting stuff in boxes and passing it off as that, or other farm stands where things are just kind of tired and sad looking. So you want to buy things that are as close to organic as possible, as close to nature as possible. Store it well, store it wisely, and you will find that you'll feel more satisfied when you're eating, and that you will eat less of it. Okay, you have a great day. Bye bye now.